Ripple XRP said JP Morgan are lying to us again. I mean, it goes to show that whenever Jamie Dimon does come on, it is quite funny. Now, in this time, he actually got a little bit angry with the interviewers and he actually did swear as well. We're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at some other news to do with the BRICS US dollar and some new updates that we have from them, as well as what Donald Trump has said in relation to CBDCs and Brad Garlinghouse on the ETFs. This is a new one coming from the Davos 2024 annual meeting. And of course, the price action for XRP coin today. All I ask from you are two things, which is to smash that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. So first bit of news that we have is coming from JP Morgan, and he says over here that his personal advice is to not get involved with Bitcoin. Guys, this guy is just an absolute fraud himself. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that they are loading their bags well before that Bitcoin halving that we will now be seeing in roughly what, about 95 or 97 days. Let's just take a look at this first.
What do you think of the other firms, the BlackRocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously. Yeah. And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin, or believes it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of there's about a dozen big financial companies, Fidelity included.
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this shit. And I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. And maybe that's not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions. This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
Gold really didn't do anything either.
Yeah, but gold's limited in supply.
So is Bitcoin.
And it's been used. So you think so, huh?
I do.
I think there's a good chance that when we get to that 20 million Bitcoins,
they go to 42.
No, that Satoshi's going to come on there, laugh hysterically, go quiet, all Bitcoin's going to be erased.
I think
How the hell do you know it's going to stop at 21? I've never met one person who told me they know for a fact they take that.
Exactly, it can't happen because by the last one will be mined in 2150, and it gets harder and harder every time there's another halving. But Jamie,
I mean, look at how hostile he became as well when he actually replied to them regarding Bitcoin. And he does say that Bitcoin has no utility and no use case and that you shouldn't be getting involved with it. Well, as you can see, it says over here that JP Morgan is an authorized participant for BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF. And so if your personal advice or your investing advice is to not get into Bitcoin, then that means that you should have stayed away from being an authorized participant for that ETF. Why did you get involved? That is exactly what I want to call him out on. Also, how is he able to get away with continuously talking bad about Bitcoin in general? I personally think that he is essentially playing the game and he's doing this just to drop the price more so that they can get in. We all know by now that they will be loading their bags up. And he also claims that Bitcoin's use cases are tax avoidance, money laundering and terrorism financing. And I just think that they don't like it because it's decentralized. They don't like something that they cannot control and that the supply can't be manipulated, right? Whereas obviously fiat currency can be manipulated like the US dollar because you can always pump more money in terms of the supply into the economy. And what I want to understand is why he actually never gets questioned about fiat currency actually being used more often than Bitcoin in illegal transactions. No interviewer has actually asked him this question so far, and I think that they need to do so because he needs to stop talking trash about Bitcoin. Also with JP Morgan as well, we actually have this partner there. You'll see over here that JP Morgan has established an agreement with a Ripple partner. So the Ripple partner is Alpha Down Exchange, and they actually joined with JP Morgan in order to offer transfers in multiple currencies for their corporate clients, and that is one of Ripple's Labs' strong partners. It says over here that I believe that the increase in use of blockchain technology can significantly improve security and efficiency in cross-border transactions, and the rise of digital wallets and mobile apps also provides a smooth and accessible way for people to transfer money. Regulatory frameworks have become more significant in ensuring compliance and consumer protection. Real-time payments are also expected to increase. For example, Alpha Down Exchange is the only money services provider in the region to establish an agreement with JP Morgan. This collaboration allows us to offer our corporate customers in the UAE same-day value for their international money transfers in different currencies. So you can see that one of Ripple's partners are heavily involved and collaborating with JP Morgan, and so we can only assume that maybe going on forward that JP Morgan could of course collaborate with Ripple. Now this interview is coming from Davos 2024 and it's to do with Brad Garlinghouse opinions regarding an Ethereum ETF that we could potentially see coming soon, and he says that it is a certainty, and he also calls out Gary Gensler for being a political liability in the United States.
Thing for the American people.
There were a couple of interesting things after that Bitcoin ETF was approved in that statement. One, and I paraphrase here, was effectively Gary Gensler saying just because we allowed the Bitcoin ETF don't think we're now going to allow a bunch of other crypto assets. The second interesting thing was the price of Ether skyrocketed immediately after on hopes that there could now next be an ETH ETF. What are the chances of that?
I think it's a certainty. I think
This year?
I'm not going to put a horizon on the time, but I think there will be other ETFs for sure.
An XRP one?
There will be other ETFs for sure.
but an XRP one?
I love this game I play. Look, I am very.
That's the last time I lost.
That's fine. But look, the sad part of that reality is we have a Bitcoin ETF only because a U.S. court said to the SEC, "You're being arbitrary and capricious in your application of the law." What would be sad is if every ETF had to go through that same journey, and for Gary Gensler to get smacked down by the U.S. court system.
Yeah, I think it would be terrible if all of the companies would have to go through the exact same thing with the other ETFs and having to take it to the courts. And it would be very frustrating because obviously with the timing as well, and how it can potentially cause a price fluctuation in the markets, because of course we do have that kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing, and also a lot of hype and anticipation building upon potential ETFs coming out soon. But I do believe that BlackRock and Fidelity, I think, have actually filed for an Ethereum spot ETF, and that we could potentially see an approval or rejection by May. So we're definitely going to be seeing an Ethereum ETF. Whether we see it for this year though definitely depend on the SEC. And so let's have a look at the update to do with the BRICS currency. So we know that they're going to be challenging the US dollar, of course, and to be using a different currency. So the newest updates that we have is that the new currency is in the works and is almost ready. And the former advisor explained that 3 out of the 5 original founding countries have agreed to launch the new currency. And so I believe that it is made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. And to launch this currency we need the political consent of the BRICS countries, and 3 of which have already expressed their support for the idea, and that we are waiting for the reaction of China and India still. So I'm assuming that once we have these 2 in, then we should potentially be seeing some more updates for this new currency that they've got coming on. Now Donald Trump has revealed his take on CBDCs. Some may agree, some may not. And in terms of the upcoming elections, he said, "As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Such a currency would give the federal government absolute control over your money." So he might be trying to win some votes over here in terms of cryptocurrency in general. I mean, I do know when it comes to the European Council, they are actively working on creating that digital euro. Now, maybe we might actually see the CBDC development actually accelerating faster in Europe compared with America. And there could be a possibility that we might actually only see a wholesale CBDC instead of a retail one. However, having said that, Rosie Rios is actually saying that a CBDC will be coming out.
Illicit financing, promote safe and affordable financial services, and explore, yes, a U.S. central bank digital currency. Now, you may know that over 80% of developed countries right now are looking at a central bank digital currency. It will happen, and it will happen in the U.S., but it's absolutely going to take some time. As you know, things don't happen very, very quickly, especially when it comes to the central bank. Now, they are taking this very, very seriously. The U.S. currency is a world reserve currency, so it is important for them to get this right. But I guess my point to that would be I wouldn't hold your breath anytime soon.
So it seems like as if we could potentially be seeing a CBDC for the Asia and Europe regions much quicker compared with the US. So let's have a look at the price action today for XRP coin. As you can see, we are trading at 0.5615. We are down by 1.58% on the 1-day chart. For the 24-hour volume, we are up by 0.9%, and we are trading at $901.1 million. And if we have a look at where we were trading at in the earlier hours of the morning, as you can see, we were at 0.566. Now we actually did go to a low over here at 0.5598. We just broke through that 56-cent mark. But on the 7-day chart, we are down by 8.82%. As you can see, we potentially nosedived from that 60-cent level all of the way to 0.5622. So we nearly lost roughly around about 4 cents. And over here, you can see that we are pretty much consolidating and trading within the 56 to 57 cent range. On the 1-month chart, we are down by 7.6%. I mean, again, ever since the 3rd of January, where we were at that 63-cent level, we did actually come much lower, but then we were able to spike up again pretty nicely just to under 62 cents. Unfortunately, we have come down now by roughly around about 4 to 5 cents. Again, I want to see XRP coin being able to get back up to 58 cents, and then we can go to that 60-cent price target. Guys, if you want daily Ripple XRP coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.